Hello, my fellow people of the internet. It's Freddy Underdoor Winner, and as usual, it's been a while. And I would tell you a bunch of excuses about it, and I definitely do have plenty of excuses about it, such as sickness and finals of school and other life things that suck. But it would take far too long, and that's wasting the time of the video. So we might as well get started with another World of Tanks gameplay review. I've already forgotten what they're called. Yeah, World of Tanks gameplay review with the Batchat 12T. And, yeah, let's get right into it. Alright, so replay number 1 in the Batchat 12T. Currently on Abby, and I'm for some reason aiming behind me, and I'm playing solo in this one, but the other game I do have a teammate. And I'm really, really rusty at commentating, so let's try to find out how I'm going to do this. Alright, so Batchat 12T. What is it? It's a tier 8 French light tank with an auto-loading gun that has 170 damage per shot for 4 shots, and then approximately a 17-second full clip reload. And it's able to do stuff like this to opponents, I say, as it fires one shot. Anyway, you'll see what it can do later. I fire one shot, and then I go for a full clip reload. Already knowing that artillery is going to be aiming at me, I run away, and there's the poof right behind me. And now, because I'm reloading, I can't put shots into these guys, so I decide to pull back. My artillery swings and misses. Anyway, what's good about the Batchat? Well, it's the only really good thing it has over everything else as a tier 8 light tank is its auto-loading gun. I believe it's the only tier 8 light tank that's non-premium that has an auto-loading gun, because of course it's French, and that's what they do. But the gun is good for just spam firing, and you're able to not quite one clip, but you could two clip a lot of enemy light tanks. So as long as you're able to pull back between clips, it's more of an ambush tank like this. This T-71DA's already taken a hit from me, so I put in 1 shot, 2 shot, and 3 shots, and now he's done. And now I wait another 17 seconds for a reload. Now, I've already gotten the AMX 1390, and I've gotten the Batchat 25T AP, but this vehicle also goes into the AMX 30, which I've only just researched recently, which means that I've now officially played my last necessary battle for grinding in the Batchat 12T. I'd actually already gotten the AMX 1390 when it was the tier 8 French light tank, and is now replaced by this. And I'd also gotten the Batchat from the 1390, so I'd only had to play this 12T from for the AMX 30. So I've only played about like a little bit over 100 battles, I believe. But it was definitely a fun grind. Like, it's, in my opinion, this tank as it is now, even in the quote-unquote nerf state from the 1390, is a lot better than the 1390 was, just because of how much shorter you have to wait. Such a shorter length of time between reloads, and you're still able to cause a lot of pain to the enemy, like I just did to that 3485 there that I was caught out in the open. So now I'm going for another reload, hiding from artillery, and this is pretty much how the game goes for a little while, just me hiding from artillery while ambushing tanks that pop out in front of me. And the scores are fairly even, it's 5-5. And of course, you're seeing the Batchat 12T in the best environment. Of course, I'm top tier. This thing can play against mouses and stuff like that, which is very uncomfortable, as the penetration on this tank is not the best. Alright, so in some of my other gameplay reviews, I've gotten a lot of requests to go over more of the strengths and weaknesses of the tank itself, along with whether or not it's worth going through this tank. And like I said before, I enjoyed going through this tank. Like, I didn't have to play it, I didn't have the misfortune of playing it stock, but I hear that the stock 12T is not nearly as bad as a lot of other stock grinds that you can get, such as the TVP VTU. And so overall, it's not too bad of a grind the entire way. The only thing is that it'll take a very, very long time if you're trying to get all 3 of the tier 9s that come from this. Each one is about 200,000 experience, which means that you're going to be stuck on it for quite some time. And whoa, like spike. Alright. So, I'm flanking around, and I'm going to go in from a different angle here. And I decided to try to ambush the 3485M from this little spot here, and I'm hoping that he's going to be pre-aimed at where I was last spotted, but unfortunately, if I remember correctly in a second here... Yep, he's ambushed right there. I figured he would be a little bit farther back, but I am able to put in one more shot, but he's brought me down to fairly low health now. And this tank is, like all light tanks, a little unhealthy for the tier. It has an even 1,000 health, which means it could still be one-shot by stuff like the Agru and other uncomfortable things like that. And it's not been unknown to get one-shot by KV2s, no eyes. Which makes this thing very, very bad against any sort of heavy tank, unless they're completely caught out in the open. So whenever I see a dangerous heavy tank, I try to avoid him as much as possible. But now I see that there's a weakness in the other flank, so I go back to try to help the Scorpion, trusting that the trusty base campers back there will be able to hold off the location I just left. Scores are 8-9, so it's still either team's game. Man, I'm sniffling a lot. Alright, so I'm going into the bushes, as light tanks do, looking for shots. Anyway, I keep getting off track. The tanks that come after this, the Batchat 25T AP, is like a mini Batchat 25T, as the name would suggest. It's got a decent gun, almost like the old 1390s gun, except with slightly higher damage per shot of, I believe it was 300. So you stick a 5100s gun on top of a light tank style driving vehicle, and then you move it up a tier, and then that's pretty much the Batchat 25 TAP. Then the other tank that comes up after this, the AMX 1390, I actually played that immediately after it was moved up to tier 9, as I was grinding through the 1390 to get to the AMX 30 right before they switched it around. So, after quickly taking out the Jackson there, so I was fairly accustomed to the playstyle already. So I decided to play a game in it, and I actually ended up hating it. I did not enjoy the 1390 when it was moved up to tier 9. It was most likely because I just sucked at the time of playing this game, but it was not one of my favorite tanks. I do think that the Batchat 12T at tier 8 is better tier for tier than the 1390, but I do know that a lot of people tend to enjoy the 1390 more. I just decided not to pursue that line, so I haven't even got up to the tier 10. I just sold the 1390 and moved back to this tier to try to get to the AMX 30. And the AMX 30 is one of those tanks that's a great tier 9, but the tier 10 is a little not the best. I track the SU there, and I leave him for the Scorpion to finish off. The AMX 30 is not the best tank. Well, no, the AMX 30 is pretty good. It's to the AMX 30B, which is the tier 10, that's not the best tank. It's got a cupola that completely ruins every single aspect about it, in my opinion. It's the old M4 A whatever. It's the old M48 A1 Patton. I believe that's what all the numbers and letters are. It's the old Patton where the cupola was so large it took away from all of the other turret armor that it could have had. And I just don't tend to enjoy it anymore. But as you can see, the mobility of this tank is really good. The camo's not the worst. So it's just a good overall tank. The only thing I would prefer it having more of is gun depression, as it doesn't have the best gun depression. It's got better than the Chinese and Russian light tanks, obviously, but I'd still prefer it to be a few degrees better. Now I spot an Oho out in the middle of the open, while the Scorpion spots him, but I've managed to put one shot into the side, but now he's turning towards me, and I know I'll never be able to pen him from the front without gold. So the Scorpion hits him once from the side, forcing him to turn, so before running away, I put one more shot into him, see if I could finish him off, but nope. Now I consider going for a reload here, but I know that the 85M is a one-shot, and I'm considering trying to go after him with the one shot I have left. But now that I see him over there and I know it's going to take too long to get to his location, I go for a full clip reload. And while I'm going to support the Scorpion, who's an absolute legend, by the way, I did end up messaging him after the battle. I don't think he actually responded to me, but it's the thought that counts, right? So the Scorpion's having a really good game with me, and so I decide to try to outflank again to try to help the Scorpion without having to risk me dying in the process. So I'm looking for a spot on the M46KR that I know is closing in on our cap circle right now. And I'm turning. It's kind of hard. It's been so long since I actually played this game that I don't even remember what my thought process was during this. But I am communicating as much as I can with the Scorpion. I remember that from chat. And I just spotted the M46KR. Now, I was a little bit afraid that I got spotted here, and I don't have Sixth Sense on this tank. So, but now after being confident that he's not turning his turret towards me, I'm able to put shots into him, and he seems to be staying there, but he moved right before my killing shot, which means I have to go for a reload. And I see I only have 3 APCR left, so I think I switch it to AP any second now. I'm still typing in chat, congratulating the Scorpion on his great kill on the M40, on the 85M. No, I've actually decided to stick with the APCR clip because I'm oh, no, there it goes. Alright, AP. Okay. So now I'm going for the kill on the M46KR. He's spotted out in the open. The Scorpion hits him once. I'm about halfway through my reload. I have to get him within my max view range here, and now I'll wait for my binos to activate so I can finish him off. Binos. Wait for it. Move forward a little bit. Scorpion's about to spot him, I believe, in a second. And anytime now. There he is. Right after I move. And he's sitting out in the open, which means it's an easy way to finish him off. Alright. So that was a nice game. So now we're going to move straight on to the next one. Alright, so we're in the next game, and I managed to blow my nose, so I shouldn't be sniffling as much anymore. And this time we're in a platoon with Aki 5. And, so we decide to move in, and Aki's more of a reckless Batchat driver than I am, probably because he's got faster reflexes or something, but I'm just not able to be quite as brave as him, so I decide to go to a slightly closer rock, mountain thing, whatever it is, hill on El Haluf here in the dip, while he goes all the way, and he finds quite a few tanks. So now he's going to try to get into the dip before they all chase after him. And the enemy team's going to do something very nice for us this game, and that's go after us one at a time so that we're able to get a full reload each and every time. So we catch a CDC out in the open, and this is what happens when we have not one but 2 Batchats firing at a single tank at once, and as you can see, it's very uncomfortable for the tank in question. We managed to take out his entire tank without losing a single hit point of our own, and now we each go for reloads. And he spots another tank. Aki spots another tank that's going to the same spot as the AMX CDC, because I'm sure it'll work out better for him. Got a little air there. I missed my first shot, hit the second, and the third, kills him. And now I go for another reload, and they kindly let us go for reloads while they go one by one out in front of the same firing range over and over again. So now that I've gotten 2 kills, I'm feeling slightly braver, and I might actually go join the Aki in a little bit, but I'm going to go for one more quick spotting run on the top of this hill. And I don't seem to see anything, but I see somebody pushing Aki. So I go back to try to support him with it, and he goes to the exact same location as the other 2, which means it's nice and easy to take him out after a few bounces. There we go. So, FV4-202 down. Now I go for another reload. Aki's going for his reload, and I'm going to push up with Aki in a little bit to help him with the T-54 that is up at that location there. I consider going around this flank, but I see that we don't have actually any scouts near the neutral base on encounter, so there might be a sniper over there. So I decide to push over in the typical location and join Aki right where he is, while Aki's annoying the crap out of this T-54 that's out in the open. So I switch over to join him, and I'm hoping not to lose any health here. And again, I don't have Sixth Sense, so I have no idea if I was spotted in the crossing there, but I go up the hill, find the T-54, and decide to hide in this location here instead of going all the way up, as the T-54 would be able to put a shot into me. So now I'm trying to warn Aki to stay put without risking himself getting shot, but of course he doesn't listen to me. Goes out in the open and manages not to die, which means we're both going to be able to unload our entire clips into this poor T-54, which means he's down as well. So now we're winning 4-0, and all 4 of the kills have been to our platoon. So it's a very nice start for the Batchat 12T platoon. And now both of us, along with some cowards that were camping in the back in the beginning, are pushing up the hill to try to outflank and finish off some artillery, which is always the most satisfying type of kill. Now I'm the first one up the hill, which means I'm the first one to get shot when I poke this ridge, and here it goes. Actually, there's less campers than I would expect. So I'm going for a spot on the artillery. They're usually staying right back here, and this is no exception. We see him. Put 1 shot, 2 shot, and 3 shots into him, and he's down, which means I have to go for a reload. And as you can see, this tank does not run out of ammunition too quickly. In the first game, I did run out of ammunition eventually, but that's because I had to have a pretty good game in that game. And you don't usually have to fire this many shells, but in scout games, I like to take the exciting scout games instead of the passive scouting where I'm just sitting in a bush watching the enemy team evaporate from all my campers sitting behind me. Instead, I like to work with platoon mates like this, completely demolishing poor UDESs that were sitting in the back of the map like that. Go for reloads again, and now we're going to go to the opposite flank of the map and try to help out with that side. So now we have 6 out of the 7 kills of our team, but that's going to change very quickly, and I don't actually end up getting a Top Gun this game, I don't believe. I remember I was very upset about that. I think I was 1 kill away. Now I have a shot at the back of an E75 from across the map. I'm aiming, and I put 1 shot into him. Then he turns, which makes him a bigger target, so naturally I miss. 3rd shot misses, and 4th shot misses. So 1 out of 4. Ouch. As you can see, the accuracy on this tank is not the best. I like to have vertical stabilizers, but you might also like to switch them out for a gun laying drive in this tank, mostly because those are the most useful to counteract autoloaders, how quickly they fire and reset their accuracy. It's a lot better to have gun laying drives and vertical stabilizers to be able to shoot as quickly as you reload. Now I'm having a little bit of a standoff with this T-10 that's aiming directly at me. So I'm waiting for somebody else to take a hit from him, or for him to get baited into firing at something, so I'm able to do some more damage, but for now I'm pinned down here. Now he starts to move, which means I can come right around the corner, hopefully finish off the T-34 here. Nope, leave him on barely any health. Bounce 1, and the final shot doesn't go in because somebody else manages to get the kill before me. So I'm reloading again. And this game's coming to a close. It's all mostly just a fight on trying to get the last kills. T-10 decides to go out in the open, which means I'm going to go hunt him down. And I'm reloaded. 1 shot, and the 2nd shot doesn't work because somebody steals the kill right before. So I go around the corner, go after this T-28 that I left alone before, put 1 shot into him, 2nd shot doesn't kill him, so I go for a ram, but artillery does it before I can. So out of rage that I didn't get that ram, I decide to try to ram the E-75. Aki goes in for the ram on the E-75. We try to get there before anybody else. Aki gets the ram, and I go for the ram, but somebody kills him right beforehand, so I still don't get a ram. And I'm very upset about that at the end. But it was definitely a very, very fun set of games for the Batchat 12T. As far as crews go, get camo, etc., off-road driving, stuff like that. 6th Sense is, of course, a necessity, but I don't have it on this tank yet because I don't spend enough time in crew training. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and other sellouty things. I'm sorry for it taking so long, but there will be more videos coming out soon, such as a settings gameplay review, settings quick guide, and just other stuff like that. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Take care. Whatever. I don't have an outro. All right, see ya.